Tell you what, brother. Come here, get away. They'll get squirt gun and get you.
The stars are talking to me, brother. It's pulsing through my veins.
What happened? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna when I get my hands on you.
Me and Miss Elizabeth are gonna whatever.
I'm gonna grab every Hulkamaniac in the ring, bring them in the ring, and choke them one by one. So, oh man, it gets wild. Anyway,
that does help relieve some steam, though, doesn't it? It's like that.
Dude, I have to say, outside of the ring, what was it? Randy Macho Man Savage had to be like the most calmest guy because he definitely left it all in the ring at all times. I mean, he was probably like out there washing the homeless feet. I mean, I'm telling you, man, that dude, Miss Elizabeth, definitely on crack. She probably had family members that created crystal meth. She was at that level. Randy was a angel.
Oh yeah. There was I remember this a while back. So when Macho Man had passed away, it was also like
he didn't pass away. He just went into retirement.
Yeah, that's right. He just went off the grid with Elvis. Yeah, you know.
He went to go put Jesus in a headlock, brother.
Well, no, did you see that? No, because I think like a day before or the day after he passed away, it was supposed to be like that Mayan end of days. It was like 2012 or do you remember that? Where a lot of people were speculating the end of the world based on the Mayan calendar or something like that.
Go on.
Anyway, there was some apocalyptic fanatics going on, which obviously it didn't happen. And then somebody, through the wonders of Facebook and all that, made an image of like some god, you know, doing the end of days resurrection, and behind him is Randy Savage doing an air like slicker. Yeah. Like, not today, brother. He's just like,
hey, brother. Put him in the Boston Crab.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
God. Okay, this is not the wrestling podcast here. That's our that's our other
but
job.
This is great conversation for the first episode of the year.
The year. You're absolutely right, guys. So, if it's all right, I'll go ahead and get started. I'll get us started, Miles.
Yes.
Go for it. All right. This is the Nissan Nerd Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Those of you that are with us online, and if you're with us as an audio podcast, thank you for being with us again. Here, our first episode of 2022. Obviously, Miles and myself, we're both excited about this. Can I speak for you? Is that all right?
Go on.
All right. So on this episode, we're going to recap an announcement that was made by Nissan of Japan literally just an hour ago. And then we're also going to talk about Nissan has bought time during Super Bowl commercials for a new commercial, which could be big. So we're going to talk about that. And then also we're going to question whether Nissan may discontinue the Titan. So that's that could be big. We're going to talk about that and more here on the Nissan Nerd Podcast.
Man, that song gets faster and faster every time I hear it. I don't know what's going down.
Well, it's that cocaine in your veins after, you know, you inherently get that cocaine in your bloodstream when you start making those impersonations.
Tell you what, brother.
They were grinding their teeth because they had to.
Put it on the rim of my beer glasses so you just... Yep. If only.
Yeah. Before we get started, Miles, I got to address the elephant in the room, which is your background. What is going on? Well, there's your shirt, but what's happening behind you? You've got the green screen.
Oh. This guy?
Yeah. Is that a?
Or we're talking about that.
We're talking about both. Yeah.
Neo's got boobs, and he can do it. Oh, he's making that money. So I finally saw the new Matrix that just came out.
Yeah.
So for those that haven't had a chance to see it, it's a lot like this. Yeah.
Are you saying they did it for the money? Is that?
No, but that's pretty good. So I saw the new
Yeah.
Matrix. We're not plugging movies here. We're not plugging movies here. But I
Yeah.
did want to give a mention out. The reason why I saw the Matrix was because there's 1.6 seconds of a Datsun 240Z in it. I don't know if anybody knew that, or a Datsun S30. We'll call it that for the
That's
people
good.
before they string me up. But at the end, there's a chase scene with Trinity on a motociclette, and
Yeah.
she's riding her little motorcycle, and they're just chunking cars at her, just whatever, right?
Yeah.
Randomly, they just chunk a 240, and I'm like, okay, the magic of cinema.
Yeah.
Turns out they really trashed an S30.
Oh.
They just dumped it nose down and trashed it, and I have some photos. We threw them up on the podcast page. We'll show them here towards the end.
Hmm.
But yeah, they took one and just trashed it. I don't know how good or how bad it was or how junk it was, but interesting to check it out. So
Yeah.
because they trashed one of ours,
Yeah.
we trashed one of theirs.
Oh, that's where it
So
comes full circle.
little
That's what it is.
payback, little
Yeah. Yeah.
payback
Yeah.
matrix.
Yeah.
And I probably just gave them. We probably promoted it, so we probably gave them like 10 grand or whatever in merchandising and promo and whatever. But
Yeah. Yeah.
needless to say, yeah. So, but again, this is a great representation of this movie. Yeah, you'll love it. But it wasn't bad. Moving on, we've got a lot more stuff to kind of go over.
We do.
A big show to kind of talk about. Anybody on with us today?
We do. We do. We have, for those of you that are with us through social media, new comments coming in. Actually, got one early. Joshua Chrome, a fan favorite, a regular with us, talking about
Original.
another Z sighting, which is on the latest season of Narcos on Netflix. It's another 10
Yes.
grand going to Netflix, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did see that, and they had many of them. It was actually called, I think. There was that one episode they were talking about like Project Nissan, and literally it was like a DEA project because at least in this episode the cartel were using Z's to transport the cocaine, and multiple ones. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was kind of cool. I mean, especially being a huge Z32 fan,
Can
I
I just
enjoyed it.
say this is probably, I mean, it's the first of the year, and I know we're like improving our processes and talking about different topics, but we've talked more about cocaine and
Uh-huh.
movies in this episode than we have talked about what we should be talking about, which is our brand,
Yeah.
Nissan. So let's get to work and stop talking about cocaine and wrestlers and things of that.
Well, here's the cool part. This is still our best episode of the year. Isn't that cool?
There's nowhere to go but up. Nowhere to
Mhm.
go but up. All right. Awesome.
Yes, but let's go ahead and get into it, Miles. Before we do, actually, you want to do a kanpai?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
Compa.
do a
Let's get that over
kanpai.
with.
Got it. All right. Again, for those who are with us, please join us. We wish you good health. For those who are not, of course, we want to be reminded of our loved ones often. So again, we say kanpai.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
News, brother. You're the first one to give out news, brother.
Let's do it. All right. Well, we are in the news section. I'm going to share my screen. I believe you can see that.
Oh.
All
Go.
right. All right. So this was actually a recap. So Nissan just recently had a link to a live stream event that's happening out of I guess their headquarters area in Japan. Uh, that unveiling that special just aired literally an hour ago. Literally, as we were preparing, as I was preparing for this podcast, I'm multitasking because I'm watching this live thread event happening. So this was a Nissan announcement, which was a Fairlady Z Unveil event. So some good and bad things about it. Actually, it was obviously tons of Z's. We did have, honestly, I'm going to call it out. There was some really good intro music in the beginning. They did a whole intro showing every generation of Z, some good music behind it. We had, of course, the host. I didn't grab his name though, but there was a representative from Kondo Racing that was a mention in the title. Does that sound familiar? Because I think it is related to the GT Super GT class. And then we also had President Uchida, Makoto Uchida, as part of the presentation. With I'm just going to say right now, though, with typical announcements made through the Japanese headquarters or Japanese branch, uh, typically there's some sort of subtitles or someone to the side with a microphone, translating. Unfortunately, this time there wasn't any of that. So I wish if there's anybody who's with us who knows Japanese and just so happened to watch it, please chime in. We'd love to hear, and maybe if you've got some more information though. But
Well, there's probably some intern right now over at Nissan Japan who's working overnight to just translate all that while we speak. So give him,
yeah,
give the intern 10 minutes, man. Let him just kind
yeah,
of do his job.
yeah.
Poor little guy.
Poor guy, poor fella.
Jeez. Poor
Well,
little fella.
what I was able to do though, Miles, is that if I'm sharing my screen right now, I've taken some screenshots of the live event. Of course, it makes up for what I couldn't translate. Obviously, I know for a fact there was a lot of thank yous and there was a lot of yes, because I would hear "arigato gozaimasu" and I would hear "hi," very very much. So I do know that. I think overall, though, the conversation between the hosts and the others on stage was very relaxed. It seemed like a pretty easygoing time. There were a lot of laughs as well. So I'll go ahead and just share this first couple of pictures, and we can kind of talk about it. Obviously, you see the Proto Z Spec out in the distance. You've got the blue production spec V1, I would imagine, on stage. This has actually happened, I believe, at the Tokyo Auto Show, which is happening. It just started today in Japan. There is our host. Now, I'm not sure about you, Miles. This shade of yellow on this Z looks different from the Proto from the Proto Z, or is that just me? You think this the lighting that
It's
kind of
hard to
makes it?
say, but yeah, I mean, I can't see them painting multiple yellow Z's. I'm pretty sure it's the same yellow they've been rocking for a while. So, but yeah, I see what you mean. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, give me the skinny. I know there was something fancy that was dropped on this, so give me the deets.
So the there was one good thing that I saw. Again, I couldn't translate this stuff, unfortunately. I tried my best at the time, though. But there was one cool
Mm,
thing. This was a customized Proto Spec front bumper. That was probably the newest, most craziest thing that I saw. And honestly, it looks a lot like the first generation Z car. When you had that front bumper up in front, it really does set it apart. So it really kind of makes you think whether this is actually going to happen in the future. Um, there is that. Of course, this is again Fair Lady Z customized Proto. How can you customize a car that's not out yet? That's the only thing that confuses me.
mm.
That's
Well, yeah, it's curious because it's like, it's hard to say. It's like, it seems like Nissan's trying to go a different direction and try different things, but it's like, it's always traditionally been, here's your model that's going to hit, and then you've got your Nismo and your other production, of course. But you got to remember also, Nissan's maybe going to be doing something weird with that new Nissan customizing department that they're hiring a bunch of people for in Japan. So I mean,
yeah,
honestly, it's like I feel foreign to what's happening because I don't feel like I've been explained, or I don't understand what's happening,
yeah,
if that makes sense with all the changes. But it's cool. I mean, I get it, and it's, maybe it's one of those things that'll make sense when it makes sense, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I get that, but
yeah,
it's just interesting that it's like, I don't know.
yeah.
I mean,
I,
just yeah. Go
I
ahead.
from what I can gather, again, one was just this customized Proto picture, which by the way reminded me of that sketch we shared
Yeah,
on
that's
Facebook.
exactly what I was gonna say.
And I was
Yeah.
like, man, it did kind of start to get me excited, man. What if they did something closer to that? So that was one idea. On stage was also the GT class new Z, which is exciting to see. The last time we saw this, Miles, it had camouflage
Yeah.
all over it, and I believe that rep from Kondo Racing, who was also speaking on stage, likely had a lot to talk about this car. Is what I'm thinking here.
Yeah.
Um, from that. I think I have one other picture. No, actually, that's the last picture I have. Um, let me share with you a few other a little bit of information that came with it as well. This is through creative311.com. This was essentially a source from which a lot of the announcements may have been leaked in advance. I'm sure that these are, at least from what you're seeing here, they still kind of are rumors. I would, like you said, with that intern who's translating right now, we're going to be hearing a lot more official words probably within the next 24 hours. So, but they're saying here, the Fairlady Z Japanese specifications have been released. The price range of the limited edition Proto Spec will be announced on January 14th. So that is, again, within 24 hours from now, we could see the price range of the Proto Spec. And the release date is delayed again, is what they're saying, at least in this article, which, I mean,
how can you keep, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I get it. But it's like, how can you keep pushing something back when we keep seeing it on the damn streets? I was like, I'm just saying,
Yes.
this is how people get jacked. I'm just saying. I'm not saying
Z to get stolen by gunpoint just because it's the only one of 5 on the road in the United States.
I'm just saying it's gonna be like the Fast and Furious thing where they shoot the harpoon through the the dash, and then that's it. They're gonna take that. They're gonna take it off it. They're gonna strip the whole car. Somebody's gonna take that engine. They're gonna throw it into God knows what, and then it'll be in a Toyota Supra or something somewhere.
Now, just for reference here, though, we were talking about this delay. For those who maybe have forgotten or didn't hear, I think the initial release date was planned for spring, essentially March of this year. In this article, they're saying it's June of 2022. Ooh. So, what is that? 3 months, pushed by 3 months. And again, they're only talking about the Proto Spec. They're not saying a production spec. This makes me think it's a limited edition. So I think they're this trickling in of inventory to dealerships. So they're kind of
they're expecting a rush. You're trying to predict a rush.
And it's supply demand, special editions. They're just kind of really. I think one thing that they're doing is that maybe they're buying time. At least they're getting something out. And having a lot of excitement.
You're thinking they're going to be pretty sneaky.
Well, I mean, I think they're trickling in. So when they say this limited special edition Proto that's going to go out, obviously they're going to be numbered, I would imagine, which means low production numbers. This keeps excitement within the community to get one. Meanwhile, Nissan is just trying to pump these things out and get them onto a boat, or get them finished in time to ship out, so that they have a few months to let them travel and get over here.
Trying to be sneaky.
A little bit. But that's what I have here. Again, they showed the Super GT spec. We saw this custom Proto spec. Again, 24 hours from now, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot more articles crawling around the website, the internet.
There'll be it's like this comes out, and then let's start all the fake news and all the fanboy stuff trying to get their Instagram post up and all the BS news. We have it from listed source. I'm like,
yeah, right. Hey, by the way, before we continue on, you mentioned all the Z sightings. By the way, I'm going to share a pair of them. You may have seen this one.
Okay, now I'll let you talk about this one, and I have some news on this one. So go ahead.
All right. So this picture you're seeing here is supposedly a Subaru STI. Somehow got into a street race match on the highway with the new Z, right. And you see the twin turbo Z just dust the guy. It seems like it, based on what looks like damage on the car. It reminds me of a few other pictures we had seen in previous months. But that's what I have. Which you sound like you have a lot to say about it.
I think it's BS, honestly. I mean, either that or I don't know. I don't think anybody's dusting anybody. I just think it's fake, quite honestly.
You think they did kind of like how you do the face apps with my face?
I've never done that. What are you talking about?
In
all my years, I'm going to just tell you right now, I have never ever done anything like that. And so,
and thing is, so even if this was real, I would almost.
They're running away. If anything, there's an intern in there who took it out, to like impress his girlfriend or whatever,
Hmm.
or some fool. And I'm just going to say this right now. I'm not saying that Nissan does this, but I've been witness to like sometimes you'll have like a promotion team and they'll just be like, "Oh, we need to get this to the truck. Who's going to drive it?" And then they'll and I'll literally listen to those conversations on the promo teams, and they're
Yeah.
just trying to get cars to cars because I've sat in one. I
Hmm.
sat I sat in the Nismo 370Z when it wasn't even available for anything, and I
Yeah.
got to sit in it, and they were just like, can you guys you're gonna go with one of our interns and just ride along shotgun, and you guys can take it to you guys can drop it off at the truck so they can get it back to Tennessee." And I was just
Hmm.
like, all right, cool, let's do this. But
It,
it's just like sometimes you have to run them on the street to get them to, if you're running late to, because those, they're, things have to be on the truck because they, I mean,
yeah.
especially this Z, it's got
Yeah.
to make all these visits, but there's damage on it, which didn't make sense to me. But
Yeah.
God knows what the story is. I eventually I'll find out what the story is on that and see if
Yeah.
it was legit or see if it's story. If it is, we'll come back to it at a later date. I
Yeah.
promise you.
It makes you make up a good point, Miles, which was I'm not saying it's fake, but I do think that Nissan would deny having been involved with that because obviously street
It's a
racing is
race.
not a good look. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. And if it was real and some intern got excited, he probably doesn't work there anymore, or he's been
Yeah, he probably
demoted
doesn't work there.
severely.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a corporate thing, handing down. You know, they're reacting to any type of negative press with this car, even though
Yeah.
it is exciting to
Right.
see for guys like us.
But did he
Uh,
have fun for like the first 10 minutes?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, time of his life. I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But then you get back in the office, it's like, James, can you come in and see me in my office?
Yeah. The guy's like, "Oh god, he's yeah.
That's it.
I see you got some
Fatality.
Arby's sauce on the seat by the way as well,
Oh
It's like
yeah,
one
he's
of
done. He is finished. No longer with us. All
Mhm.
right. Moving along.
This is a second video, Miles. We actually had a guy here. It looks like he's in a Jeep. He's kind of following a Z spotting. This video just came out yesterday. First of
Ooh.
all, I gotta say I love that shade of gray. That's a very popular color, at least in a lot of cars right now. I think it looks really good with this new Z car.
This feels like Arizona. I don't know why.
It does. Yeah, you got a lot of what do they call it, xeriscape landscaping. A
Well,
lot of
the only
rocks.
reason why that's important is because
Hmm.
the
Oh,
one of the testing grounds are in Nissan. For
the
Nissan are in
the proving grounds. Yep.
our proving grounds are in Phoenix,
Yep.
just outside actually. So
One
yeah,
thing
cool.
I'm one thing I'm going to nerd out on, Miles. If you can see the
What you
picture
got?
here, you see that third brake light up on top.
Oh yeah.
That looks pretty snazzy to me. I can tell that that hasn't been done before because I have a 350Z. The 350Z is a top-mounted third brake light, but it's
Mm.
on the inside, showing through the glass, right?
Ooh.
Then the
Okay.
370Z has a third brake light that's on the spoiler, typically down a little bit lower. This one is external and up top. So I know as a fact it is new. At least I don't know. I caught that and I was like, well, this is the show to share that type of stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well,
yeah,
I'm happy that you're nerding out.
yes, I am.
But we got to move on. All right, next. Yeah, before we go on, anybody have anything that they'd like to say? See here. Paulo said 432 R colors. Yeah, yeah. He's probably talking
well,
about the yellow and some of the other things that we're
well,
talking
that
about.
orange that we saw with the customized Proto, that looked like an
Uh,
orange-ish sort of
well,
432
yeah,
color
from the
before.
432. Yeah, that makes
Yep,
sense.
yep,
All
yep.
right.
Hmm.
See here, Joshua, back again. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Mako nose or the 2+2 in some of these designs. I agree. The more of the, I don't know, like the G nose,
Genos is
like
what I was thinking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that'd be kind of sick. I mean the the nice, and we talked about this before. The nice thing about the platform for the new Z, it's very customizable. We've
Yeah.
seen even some artwork that's already been done, and I mean between that and what you're seeing in the GT model, which we're going to show you a little bit here later on. We got some pictures of it running.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it's just going to get sicker and sicker and sicker. I mean, wider flares. more accentuated front ends, and then that's when the fiberglass kicks in, and then it really gets crazy, and then we get like the old school Arabuni catfish kits that came out. I mean, oh my God, it's gonna get ugly, folks. It's gonna get ugly before it gets better. I'll put it that way. And then we still got to wait for a Nismo model to come out, and then there'll be probably two versions of the OEM bumper that come out. Yeah, so
hmm
I mean, there's going to be a lot of things as long as everything's interchangeable. I mean, that's the beauty about some of the Nissan stuff is if they keep the model, then and not do any changes when and I know we're talking a long way off, but the 370 has a redesign, or excuse me, the new Z, the Proto has a redesign like in, let's call it 4 or 5 years, and they keep everything pretty much identical and not really
Yeah.
change too much. Then it's amazing because everything's just interchangeable. You can start swapping parts, and that's really what you want. It aids in the customizability of the car. That's great. I mean, it's already going to be an amazing tuner car. It's going to be all over the radar when it hits here in the States. You're going to
hmm
see it flood SEMA. I mean, you're going to see it. You'll probably see it at PRI, PIR. What? Oh my God, PRI.
hmm
And then, I mean, all the crazy car shows in Japan. God knows. I mean, hell, right now before we came on, we were talking about Tokyo Auto Salon, which it's amazing, but it's not that much customizability. But like I said, I mean, it's going to be, it really is going to be one of those cars that kind of changes everything. You're going to see a ton of them everywhere. So they're going to sell like hotcakes. I mean, it is what it is.
I really think so. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, man.
So
Uh,
let's move on. What else do we got going on? Oh, so I did have an article here that came out that was a little brutal that I wanted to kind of talk about. It came out, but at the same time, it was kind of one of those. Sometimes you just have to kind of hear it before it kind of makes sense.
yeah,
But this is talking about the Titan, and Mike, throw me the steering wheel, man.
sure.
So, all right. So what we're talking about on this one is the future. This is coming out of Car Buzz, and this was an article that was called "The Future Isn't Looking Good for the Nissan Titan." So, for those that don't know, Nissan Titan sales haven't been amazing. Most people don't follow this; they just assume that a platform has come out, a platform replaces it, so therefore there's no danger of that model kind of going away. But
hmm
here at NMP, we watch sales numbers, usually try to figure out what's going to be trending in the future, and then when articles come out like this, we either kind of give them the nod or the pass. This one we almost gave the pass to, but then we started doing our research and we came up to the realization that there might be some truth to this.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, like I said, the sales figures for the Nissan Titan haven't been amazing, but and I think Mike, you actually took the time to put together some sales figures, and you pulled some data as
hmm
of recently.
I did.
But yeah, I'll hand it back over to you. But again, that was the article that I wanted to mention. That's what we're discussing right now.
hmm
And go ahead, Mike.
Oh yeah, I actually really talking about again nerding out. Thank God we have this podcast. So again, to just kind of give you some data to support your article that you're sharing, which I think is a really good article. This
Yeah,
data that I have here, I'm going to share my screen again if you can see that. I literally went to there's a site here. It is called where's it at? I want to get you the numbers here. It's like usautosales.com or something like that. But anyway,
sure.
what it does is that I literally took the sales numbers from the Titan every year it's been produced since 2003. And then I put those numbers into a graph and then I compared them with other models of truck, its competitors, if you will. So, what you can see here, I've got six, the Titan, and then five other models. Of course, you see here these top three. The unit production is literally in the hundreds of thousands, 300, 700, almost 900,000 units. Those are your American manufacturers. Let's just talk about that for comparison. Now, down below here, the Titan here is in orange. Just on average, though, you can see that here in the beginning, 2003, sales were doing pretty good. Let's say for the first 2 years, I think the most Nissan has ever sold in 1 year of a Nissan Titan, about 86,000 units, which is very good. However, since then, every
that
year
was their
after,
that's where the water line broke. And
they,
there's a figure that I have in my article that says sales hit 86,945 in 2005
yep.
and dropped steadily for the rest of the decade, eventually going to, and this is in 2015,
hmm
12,140, which I think at this point we had new additional information to as well. And
Yep.
you said, what are they today?
Well, so as far as here in 2021, they sold 27,000 units. Going backwards, 26,031. I think aside from that 86,000 unit mark, their next highest peak. I mean, you got to think about that. They peaked on year 3 of production. That was in 2005. Uh, I
Wow.
think that the next thing that you can think of anywhere closest was in 2017. That was when the second generation Titan had just come out. They had 52,924,000 units in 2017. But yeah, everything has been so low. Again, example, you've got Truck D, which is actually the Honda Ridgeline. I, Even at this moment, as we speak, in terms of sales of all most major trucks being sold in the U.S., popular models, the Titan is the poorest selling, sadly, and that's what you're seeing here. These numbers, again, the Titan being this orange line here down below. Um, like I said, like your article suggests, this is proof to that. It's
Yeah.
not good
And
news, but yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, initially, when the first generation Nissan Titan came out, the article kind of quotes that Nissan had a play it safe approach that ultimately kept the bean counters and the corporate strategists happy, but ultimately the market didn't really bite on it. And there was a quote that came out that was it was one of those tough love type of scenarios.
hmm
Um, let's see here. Give me 1 second here.
No problem.
And everything's lagging up. But in the interim, yeah, unfortunately, there is again, this is all rumor, speculation.
Mhm.
Nobody at Nissan has obviously committed to this,
Right.
but with everything kind of looming and everything laid out in front of you, it does make sense that the Nissan Titan has a high probability to go away, especially with your predecessors. There's so much more competition at a full size truck level. I mean, it's ridiculous.
hmm
So for them to come in at a mediocre range and then go subpar as far as sales, it makes no sense for them to continue to compete in a full size market where they do not have market share to begin with. On the
Yeah.
mid-size truck range, we're talking about the new Frontiers. They're
Yep.
they're doing remarkably steady. The new Frontier has a lot of buzz about it. I'm super excited about it. I think it's an amazing vehicle. But
hmm
yeah, unfortunately, it's just I'm not kind of seeing the 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 longevity for the Nissan Titan in the future.
Yeah.
So
I got a few notes to make on
your
that too.
thoughts?
So again, yeah. So my thing is that it's not to say that the Titan is bad. I don't think it's bad. It's just that the competition for a
No.
truck in the U.S. market is so damn high. It's the full size pickup demand is so crazy here in the U.S. that there's so many brands and models to choose from that it's just unfortunate that it really kind of has gone this way. Remember these numbers that we shared is only in the U.S. Now to say whether the Titan is justified in other markets, whether that's other countries. They could be doing great. I just don't have those numbers. So at least what we're talking about is we're not saying they're going to discontinue everywhere, but it just may be in the U.S. I think there was one note from your article
Wow.
that said that the Titan has been discontinued in Canada already. It's no longer in Canada. So, I mean, it just suggests that maybe that same trend is coming here to the States. Um, the second thing I wanted to comment I wanted to make is kind of seeing what Ford has done in the last year to year and a half. It really comes down to focus on what you're good at. I mean, in the last year and a half, you've seen Ford literally cut or discontinue literally every sedan car, mid-size, full-size car, aside from the Mustang. uh, Ford doesn't really make a car anymore. They all focus on trucks and SUVs. So I was likening that move that Ford made. Maybe it's something similar that Nissan would do with the Titan. I mean, Nissan knows they're really great with the midsize pickup. They're good with SUVs, sedans, cars, very affordable, very reliable. Let's just focus on that, and maybe just the Titan might get the chopping block. Again, this is speculation, but um, unfortunately, there's
There's
some proof.
we think there's a high probability, but so for those out there with your Titans, or you're looking to potentially pick up a Titan, now might be the time to pick those up in a capacity. And what's funny, you and me, Mike, were kind of nerding out
Mhm.
on this and talking in detail about
Yeah.
Titan, and we started checking out pricings and things. I mean, the pricings for used Titans are still fairly high, and they're holding their value for a time. Usually, when discontinuation comes of a model, you'll see a price dip. So for those that actually wanted to ever pick up a Titan, you want to get in that VK platform
Yeah.
that's in those models. You know,
Yeah.
start looking.
The new
'Cause
models. Yeah, I would say that a Titan that's maybe 5 years old at this point still has a relatively good resale value. Now, when you're talking about those Titans that are over a decade old, they are a bargain right now. You can get a 15-year-old Titan. I'm looking at numbers right now: $3,000, $4,000 for a Titan. And of course, you're talking about V8 power, full size, great towing capacity, and for less than 5 grand. I mean, that's where we think there's some really good deals happening out there too.
Yeah, and what's funny is like we saw a lot of things potentially coming down the line for the Titan. We heard rumors that a Cummings was potentially going to go in it, and there was going to be some port there. But if you think about it, a full size Nissan with a Cummings diesel, that was at one time potentially going to happen.
It
Um,
happened, buddy. I'm sorry.
well, I apologize. But
Yeah.
I'm talking in a large scale. At my
Mhm.
yeah. But
Sales, yeah.
the reality of that is, that it was not anything new. Everybody else is doing it, but were people doing it in a mid-sized truck in the Frontier,
Mhm.
like something like the Frontier or the Toyota lines? Now that's
Mm.
something to kind of talk about. So,
A mid-sized diesel? Hadn't seen that before. Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
mean,
I
you
mean,
have to play to a market
well,
if it exists. So
aside from the four-cylinder diesels of the '80s, I mean, that's really about all I've seen, but
true, true.
but
And then
that was so long ago, you
yeah.
know?
I mean, think about it also too. When's the last time somebody really has made um, a compact four-wheel drive turboed truck? Like I mean, the Navara and
Oh,
a
yeah.
few other models, but I'm talking for the U.S. market. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I still
you're not
like
gonna get it
something
here. Yeah.
smaller. Yeah, I still like, and I still say this to this day. Nissan needs to make a small truck to this day and make it almost like we're doing like an equivalency of the Nissan hardbody, or
Yep.
like the old dot or Nissan 720s or 620s,
Yeah.
something of that weight class and that size class. But then you throw yourself a little four cylinder in it, or even go to strictly go there's going to be a market there. I really think they have the potential to take it over, and I
Mhm.
guarantee you other manufacturers are already thinking about it. So,
Oh, yeah.
Nissan
It's
already
happening.
has the potential for taking that. So
Yep.
they have the lead on everything that's happening with the EV market. So they just got to utilize it.
Yep.
So
Yeah, the Ford F-150 just came out as an E version. Uh, Videos, at least concepts that are finding their way. Eventually, Silverado just had a release on a similar version. Who's to say that maybe the Titan goes away and there's some sort of E variant, an all new Nissan model that's an E full size or E mid size? That would be awesome. Yeah, I think that Nissan is doing way more better in the midsize market pickup. So maybe to capitalize on that as an E version, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and on that, I'm going to go ahead and I wanted to give the quote that I wanted to talk about earlier. And it says,
Mhm.
the and I'll end it with this: the capable yet bland pickup ignored a crucial lesson that had been taught nearly a decade beforehand by another brand desperate to become a true contender in a lucrative full size segment. It's never enough to just match the competition on the spec sheet. Instead, you have to deliver a knockout punch that sends everyone reeling and makes you stand out. It's truth.
Wow,
So
that is huge.
interesting.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
it's not about the spec sheet. It's about a lot. There's way more factors that play into what makes sales great on a particular model. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Um, I am going to go ahead and move into news in 60 seconds. Let's go ahead and break into
Uh,
that,
yeah,
Miles.
yeah. Here.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do that. News in 60 seconds. Of course, we do this as an attempt to share with you a bunch of honorable mentions, articles that have come out over the last week or two. Just something that, if it does pique your interest, you might want to go ahead and take a look into them for yourself. So we definitely encourage that. The links to these articles will be in the show notes. So let's go ahead and get started on that. First one, Nissan Group reports 2021 fourth quarter calendar year U.S. sales. We were just talking about sales, right? So we do have the Nissan division sales and Infiniti division sales. They are comparing 2021 with 2020. There is showing, at least as a whole, a negative change. Honestly, I wouldn't think too much into that because obviously, as we know, Nissan has been going through this whole revitalization, new models. Uh, Maybe the fruits of all those efforts just haven't really played completely into these numbers. So I would still give it a few more quarters to really show what's actually happening. Anyway, a few highlights here: sales of the new 2022 Frontier were 22,634 units. That is up 114%. Frontier sales doubled. You were just talking about that. That new model Frontier is making a huge splash. Um, Again, doubling sales versus the fourth quarter of 2020. That is great. Looking at the all new sales 2022 Pathfinder, they were up 12.5%. That's modest, but it's good. Pathfinder is looking great. Looking here at the Nissan Kicks, their sales were up 12%, and the Armada was up 94.8%, which is pretty damn good. Let's see here. Other highlights. Let's look into some numbers. Let's see here. There was no sales on the Z. I had a tease on that one, buddy.
No. Yeah, we already know that. So moving on.
Yeah. So anyway, again, for those of you who are interested in these sales, go ahead and look at our show notes. You'll see the link. We'll let you know more about the Nissan sales for the end of 2021. Moving into our second article. This is a quick one. Normally, I don't like to share articles that may be rumor from news outlets that are questionable, but this is through Reuters, which is a tried and true, reputable news outlets. And this was a single paragraph report that came out just earlier this month. They're saying here that Nissan and Renault are set to unveil joint EV projects. Sources say. It says here, Nissan announcement. It says here, automotive alliance partners Renault and Nissan will on January 27th. That is about 2 weeks from now, present their joint projects for electric and connected vehicles. Two sources close to Renault had told Reuters. So electric projects, and they say connected vehicles, which makes me think autonomous, perhaps, maybe the next level of safety technology. So we'll look into that. So let's say hopefully by next episode we'll have some update on this one.
Makes sense. Yeah, that we would get it all at the beginning of the year. Nissan's like that. They like to drop a lot of news when everybody else is down and they're holding their cards. Nissan wants to be the first out of the gate. So
Yeah.
here we are, and so we'll get that information. But yeah, that's gonna be we're gonna have to keep our ear to the ground on that one, Mike. So
Yep.
yeah.
I agree. Last one we have here, again, news in 60 seconds here. Nissan is planning for an ad for uh, America's football's biggest stage. You know how they say they can't
Yeah.
say the S word. It's copyright. We were just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, we can't say Super Bowl. We have to
You
talk
can't
about the
say it.
big game.
It
We
has to
have to
be the
talk
big game.
the big game Sunday show. Yeah, I don't know whatever the hell
Your
they're saying.
favorite team. Yeah, exactly. So
Oh.
you're not much of a football fan, are you, Miles? No? Yes? I didn't
No.
really know you to be one, but I am. I mean, I know I've been a big
I
fan of football, but
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it. You throw around pigskin on the ground, and a bunch of people hit their heads together. I'm not saying that's everything that football is.
yeah,
I'm just saying that
at a distance, that's what you see.
it's never interested me. I've
Yeah,
always been into the car aspect of it. So I watch the
yeah,
commercials,
yeah.
and then I'm out, brother. So yeah. Well, what do you got?
well,
What do you got?
well, I will say that football is definitely up there for me right now since F1 seasons are currently on
You have
break.
to
So
you
this
have
is
to
what I'm
just
feeling it
you
in.
got to fill your bowl with something. All right,
I am
gotcha.
feeling in time
All
here.
right.
Anyway, Nissan will advertise during America's football's biggest game, Super Bowl, this Friday. Friday, February the 13th. That is 1 week from today. They have bought a 60-second time slot during the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
That ain't cheap. They didn't mention numbers, but I know for a fact that isn't cheap. And they're saying that this is going to be a comedy thriller created to celebrate the brand's newly completed product revitalization. It says here that they're very excited to take their message of this revitalization to the biggest stage in culture and show the power of Nissan. A 6-second commercial. They're saying, of course, it will have a host of famous faces, including brand ambassador Brie Larson, who we've seen on many episodes, many commercials before. There is going to be a sighting of the new Aria electric crossover and also the all new Nissan Z. We've been talking about it. They're saying that that will be in the commercial as well. Again, taking that excitement to the big stage. So that is
makes
news in
sense.
60 seconds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm still interested to see how that Araya is going to lay out. I mean, it looks pretty impressive, but I still haven't seen it to this day with my own eyes. But one of these days, I'll get a chance to check it out and see if the love is there for it from me. But I
hmm
don't know. What do you think? I mean, it's an impressive vehicle with that. If you read the spec sheet on it, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot going on.
I mean,
But
we were comparing spec sheets with the new Nissan crossover. We were comparing it with the Tesla and Mach E. I mean,
mhm,
just again talking spreadsheets and spec sheets. Very comparative to the competition. Just like that quote you had mentioned, though, it really comes down to the essence of the Aria. Uh,
yeah.
what it feels like, what it conveys. Maybe we need to find a dealership nearby that'll let us do a live feed
Yeah,
test
and kind of
drive.
show it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we can promote them and just do that though. But it's that essence that they really need to be selling. So I'm
Okay.
curious. I am curious.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the newsy. I wanted to kind of show you something.
Mm,
So, for those that don't know, give me one moment here, Mike.
hmm Steering wheel.
Yeah, go ahead and give me the steering wheel. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Super GT. We're going to go ahead and talk about motorsports here right now. So, obviously, on the Super GT platform, there isn't much to really to kind of talk about. No dates have been dropped yet for Super GT. We're expecting those to come out here soon. We're starting to see some of the teams come out. Nissan being the first out of the gate to kind of talk about that. But hold on real quick, Mike, you don't want to see my man shed, did you? Let me see here.
hmm
Mm, 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 mm. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. But Nissan was the first out of the gate to kind of talk about what they're bringing to the table for the next year. We knew early on, almost immediately after GT was done, Nissan went to the interwebs and kind of talked a little bit about the GTR finishing up, and then the new Z taking its place in a new racing series coming up in the next year. Again, no due dates, but Nissan has been doing some testing, and some photos have been spied of the new Z out there. We've been able to capture a few of them,
Yep.
but it doesn't look like much has changed from what we've seen with the initial the GT Proto reveal.
Hmm.
But still, man, it's an impressive vehicle all around. The aerodynamics involved, and we've talked about
Oh
this
yeah.
before, that they've mentioned that the natural design of the Z changes the roof line to a superior advantage for Nissan in the future. Now, whether that's going to have any types of restrictions or changes that need to be done soon, it'll have, that'll only come out in the mix. But
Okay.
for what we've got right here, I mean, it looks to be a pretty impressive vehicle. I mean, I've been kind of staring at these for the better part of about a
You
day.
and
So
you are a huge aero person. I mean, I've seen your projects cars. I mean, you've got the diffusers, spoilers up in front, diffusers in the rear.
yeah,
Uh,
and I go back through, and I like wind tunnel photos are pretty much centerfolds for me, and honestly, I mean, that I love aerodynamics. I love the science behind drag and things of like that give you that advantage in a motorsports aspect. I mean, Delta Wing, and we've talked about this till we're blue in the face, and we've nerded out on it a lot, but
mhm.
here we are. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely think it's amazing what they're doing. But just a few things that I wanted to kind of bring to the table is like is talking about the mirrors, and
Yeah.
look at how they're carrying all the aero, the lower aero of the car on the sides all the way through. It's almost continuous, and we
Wow.
saw that a little bit with the last Nissan LMP cars. Remember how it was just one big massive air tunnel that was dividing through the car? And I'm curious if there's going to be any like hidden things that are happening with this GT car. I mean, when we finally get the disassembly and are able to see the kind of exploded visions of this car, I mean, it's going to be pretty impressive. I feel there's going to be a lot of detail here that we can kind of nerd out at a later time. So, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I know, just kind of thinking about the previous recaps we've done for Super GT. I know, let's say, a month and a half ago, we had announced that the GTR was being discontinued. 2 weeks later, we learned that the Z will take its place. Uh, that was 2 weeks ago, and now we're looking at actual pictures of it on the track. Not renderings. We're talking actual photos of it on the track, which is very impressive. I mean, this news updates that are happening pretty smoothly, at least for us to report. So I'm pretty
yeah.
excited about it. I think. Oh, here's what I did since the last episode too. I did go through. I have a calendar on my phone that I can actually, I can set dates, weeks and months and years in advance, and they're going to go ahead and ping my phone when the time comes. I've literally put out the entire Super GT schedule on my phone, 24 hours in advance. So I really have a huge desire to be watching Super GT this year, and I've made action on it. So I really want to see this new Z.
You're actually gonna get a chance to follow it with me in the future. That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
that's the thing because
I
I've been doing Formula E or Formula One even, but I haven't done much with Super GT. So I really want to get into it. This is gonna be a
the
big year.
racing's great. I mean, it's hit or miss if you're gonna have any type of translator. So it's sometimes you have to just kind of watch it with no understanding of what's actually happening in detail, unless you
Yeah,
want to wait 24 to 48 hours for the English variation to come out or the English translation to come out. But
yeah.
honestly, the racing is top notch. Just like EDAMs.
Hmm.
On that note, anything new from what's happening with Formula E right now?
Formula E. Honestly, I okay. So giving you a motorsports update on Formula E. I've done some research here in the last 2 weeks. The Formula E site, not any news there. I did go to the Facebook page, which obviously very engaging with enthusiasts like ourselves, but the content was just kind of just keeping excitement or momentum with those online. No actual real news with the EDAMS team. So I don't want to create any news that's just not there of real substance. So there's
It's
not
true.
much.
Well,
We
naturally this is the downtime for everybody. Everybody's
it is.
testing tuning right now
It's
for any
testing too.
major type of motorsports. This is all the downtime for them to get in the garages, get in the shops,
Yeah.
start shedding the weight, start making all the fine tunes that they need. That's going to give them that competitive edge.
We can
So,
gossip though. I mean, like,
oh, I can gossip. I
did
can
you
gossip.
hear? Did you hear the pit boss talk dirty about the other dudes? I'm just guess I don't, I'm just being silly.
I was
Like
like, all right, oh, let's go. Let's talk. Let's sling some trash. Oh, let's
he
go.
slept with his mother, dude. It's just
My
no,
God.
no. Of course, I'm just being silly. But honestly, no real news coming out of the EDAMS team. The last episode, we did talk about Formula E. There's a huge third generation spec car that they're going to be racing this year. Huge bump in power. These E cars are going from 600 horsepower to 800 horsepower. Essentially, all-wheel drive, front and rear power to the wheels this season, which is a first. That's a big enough change for me to just continue learning more about these cars. So it's looking really good. The first round of Formula E is actually happening in 13 days, so not
Oh,
very far from now. So we will be
and
sure to report
again,
on
we
it.
still got Boemi, and he's still around.
Hmm.
Rollin got changed out for a new driver this
Maximilian
year.
Gunther.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that'll be our drivers for 2022. So they have great Instagram coverage. For those that don't know, you could check it out through the Nissan page or the Nismo page. And
Hmm.
yeah, they're always doing updates, always fun little things, always good little videos. So if we try to give our updates on what the EDAMS team is doing through the Nissan Nerd Facebook page and our Instagram account, but if you get a chance, subscribe to that. You're going to get a lot of good behind the scenes um, uh, insights that you would probably not get anywhere else. So yeah, if you get
Yep.
a chance to check those out, I would recommend that.
Will do.
So continuing on, it's been a while since we kind of talked about a car feature, and we've talked. Cars that we found on the internet, but I wanted to kind of dust one off. I mean, we were kind of talking about the Titan. You and I kind of nerded out a little bit about the Titan as of
Yeah.
recently, but I wanted to go all the way back to the grassroots, go to the concepts. And so I dug something out that came out a little while ago
Hmm.
and came across my radar, and I wanted to kind of talk to everybody about. Now, for those that don't know, um, and the article kind of brings itself up, give me that steering wheel, son.
Hmm.
It's called the Nissan Alpha T concept, and it's titled "The Game-Changing Pickup That Was Never Made." Instead, all we got was the 2004 Nissan Titan. So a little harsh,
Oh man, that's brutal.
a little pistol whipping a blind kid at the beginning, but when
Yeah.
you get through it, it's not too bad, and you can definitely see how this car laid the foundation for the Nissan Titan, in a sense. So
Okay.
here's the original concept that when it came out, and you know what it kind of reminds me. I don't know why I get this kind of back taste of, remember when the 350Z came out, and
Hmm.
you could see it's kind of the same design, the same
Ah.
play, like the same overall artistic conception that they were doing at the time.
It was
Remember, because
probably
we
done in
saw.
the same room, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you got over there? And like, one
Mhm.
artist is like that. Don't
The
look at my
clay, yeah.
stuff. Like they're like cheating on tests. But remember
Yeah.
when the first 350Z concept came out around that same time period, and everybody
Mhm.
was kind of like, "Ooh," remember that? Like,
Yeah.
because the first Z
Was that
concept when it came out was kind of like, whoa, the
the one
350Z,
that was a 240
the
SX
orange.
chassis? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying it was bad, but it needed work, right? Instead, it was fine tuned. They threw it back on the board. It went back. They cut some more clay models. We got the 350Z.
Yeah.
This was that orange 240 SX chassis equivalency. All right.
equivalent. Okay.
Again, this was the Alpha T concept. But I mean, it was pretty cool. If you're looking at the design, it kind of to me
Hmm.
almost I'm not saying it's Cybertruck, Tesla Cybertruck, but I could see where like I don't know, maybe some kind of folks got a nod to it. But I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at it, I mean it I don't know. To me, it kind of looks like a like an avalanche, and the Cybertruck kind of just had a child out of wedlock. It's kind of like you know but some of
Yeah.
the designs, I mean, you look at the hood, it's got either a faux or a real induction hood. It's got the same type of grill lines.
Yeah.
The arches have been taken way up, and you probably think that everything is going to be plastique, so
It
dent resistant
looks.
panels maybe. You've got that roof line that came with the remember the Ultimas that had that massive sunroof that would shift inside of itself.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Yeah. So this was the original designs. Now this is the crazy part. Look at
Okay.
this. Look at that
This
butt.
was this what this struck a memory. We were talking concepts. Another, I think it was a Japanese spec concept. What's going on with that tailgate? Because it reminds me of what was happening with the tailgate out of a station wagon.
Oh yeah, we had I think it was a station wagon that we did. It was a concept, and it was a minivan. I think we covered this about 4 articles back or
Hmm.
4 episodes back, and it talked a little bit about you could basically lay that sucker down. You could pretty much put your caboose in there and just
Yeah.
fish right off of the tailgate, which is ultimately, I feel like car manufacturers sell that idea more than anything. The whole utilization of your truck bed being, work Monday through Friday. On the weekends, you're fishing and or tailgate partying off of the back of it. And
Yeah.
I was still struggling to be like, okay, what do we got going on here? Is this a seat where I'm gonna sit underneath my car with a little roof covering? Is this rack gonna be sliding out and I could stick some tools in there? But you also
Yeah.
see some cool design aspects in the rear. For those that don't know, or don't ever own one, like the Titan and the Frontier have these track systems where you can basically move around your tracks, your colsters. I forget
They
what they're.
have accessories that help you secure your loads,
Yeah,
right? Is
and
that
you
what you're
can
talking
you
about?
can
Yeah.
customize them. You can put in like those for like bicycles. You have gates that kind of interchange and move back and forth. I mean, that's one of my favorite features of the Frontier is that track system. And whoever came up with that, by the way, I hope he got a bonus when it came out because that I just absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite features. But I saw this and I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool too as well. It was just something different. Flat panels are never good for the back of a bedside for dent resistance, but just throwing that out there. But
Hmm.
the concept overall that was just kind of interesting. The only problem is like, I don't know, say for instance, you and me are kicking back in these two seats right here underneath this tailgate, and then somebody decides to turn on the tailgate and run the radio or something and not let the battery die, and they just I don't know inadvertently kill the two of us from carbon.
Well, that's what I was
Um,
thinking. Look at that. Look at those trumpets. That exhaust is right near the headrest of the seat. So yeah,
yeah,
it's like
I don't.
you're gonna get a.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a seat. And I couldn't get any real
Yeah.
clear answers of what was going down with that. But I'm like, it's pretty interesting. The problem with when you run something like that is there's
Hmm.
inadvertently going to be somebody who's going to want to ride on that while it's in motion,
Yeah.
and the litigation aspect of it is just
You being the
uh,
insurance guy, that sounds like yeah.
yeah, it's just going to be pretty brutal.
Now
But I
that
mean,
interior,
overall, yeah.
yeah.
What do you got?
Well, I was
Interior?
wondering. I think you scroll down to the interior. There's like a
Oh yeah.
suicide door interior. Scroll down a little bit more.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Keep on, keep on.
Let's see here.
Uh,
We're
keep going.
There you go. You talking about this guy right here?
One more. So you got the suicide doors, which is obviously that's pretty cool in some ways. Now
Yeah.
there should be one other picture that actually shows what looks like an orange leather. I mean everything's orange. It's like a burnt orange interior.
Yeah, well, that was kind
Very
of the theme back
futuristic.
then. Remember that?
Yeah.
Even the Sunset Le Mans when it came out. Remember we got the orange. We got that
Yeah.
leather. I mean, Nissan probably got a deal on the leather at the time, but just but here, this is what you're talking about.
That's the one. Yeah. It you know concept. when people think concept, obviously we're looking at future product, but like sometimes people get carried away. Like how far forward are we actually looking? 20 years in the future, 5 years in the future, one
Yeah,
year in the future, you
yeah.
know?
But
So
yeah, I
this one
agree.
was
Yeah,
obviously a
there's
little
some
too far
cool
ahead.
there's some cool aspects of this that I really dig. I absolutely hate a digital dash in that capacity. Way
Yeah.
too big. I want something a little more integrated with the driver. Of course, we're
Yeah.
criticizing something from 2004, so it's easy for us. It's an easy target, right?
Yeah.
The boat like gear shift that's in the middle.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I saw that get introduced in some of the GM cars. It actually went into production with that, and I
Mm.
absolutely hated it. Ford, some of the original Fords had that design like that too. We saw that from the 60s and the 70s muscle
Yeah.
era, but it I don't know. It to me it just no.
Good point.
So, but the
Yeah.
center console, if you look at the continuation of the center console going up, um, look, I mean, it's kind of cool that separation there. The your space, my space, leave me alone. I like
Yeah.
that. You know, um,
Yeah, it's that space. Don't bother me while I'm driving.
so yeah, yeah.
Don't
Go to
even
your
look at
side.
me. Yeah, yeah,
Don't you dare look at
yeah.
me.
Don't you
It's
dare.
like, but yeah, I mean, all in all, though, a very cool concept. I know they were poking fun a little bit with the article and kind of talking about it, but it was definitely interesting if they would have kind of gone forward with it. But they definitely went with something a little less. They went with something safe, is what I'll say.
I,
So as we know, at the 2004 Nissan Titan when it dropped, and it
that's
was cool, but I
yeah.
mean, again,
That's yeah.
you know,
That's how most dreams get compromised. It's just that for one person, of course, when you dream, you don't dream of the bad things. You dream of everything going right. And then that's when those lawyers step in. Well, this feature, even though you like it so much and it's so cool, again, what if this happens? Oh, lawsuit, can't have that. Either modify it or get rid of it. And that's where those compromises are made. Just obviously, in reality, it's probably for the greater good. You're saving lives while you're doing it, but you're kind of
yeah.
sacrificing some of that daydreaming of the truck, especially being a concept at the time.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, there are some really cool things that I do like about this. I mean, some of this integrated into the finish line. I mean, the tailgate and the rear. I
Hmm.
like that. I would have liked something more flush with something, that didn't have access for like your fingers to get in. That would have been something more push button would have been cool. Of course, costs associated to that. No mirrors at that point because Nissan was obviously thinking of something more
Oh
along the
yeah.
lines of digital. I mean, some things you're not looking at, but yeah, you'll catch. Gas
Hmm.
tank. I mean, they're going back to the original. Like, I haven't seen a truck really do that in a while, where you actually have a push gas tank, where you push it and it kind of opens to you.
Hmm.
Suicide doors. I actually love suicide doors.
I do
The
too.
third, the third brake light, where it's integrated into the back of the cab. I absolutely love that. I think it was just a little cool feature. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, just some cool stuff. I mean,
Yep.
the wheels on this thing are a straight rip from the 350Z first gen. Remember those when they came out?
Yes. Oh yeah.
And oh god, they were so. I always hated them. I could not. I hated that rim, but I did love the track wheels. So for the 350Z when they came out. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I'm gonna quit
Um.
harping on this. But yeah, just something I kind of want to kind of talk about. And
You,
just
you know.
for those that never ever saw this
Hmm.
prototype or this concept, it was just something kind of
Yeah.
cool. So
Since we were talking about the sorry, the Titan and its the potential discontinuation in the U.S., and then we're talking about the concept that really introduced the Titan. I hope it's all right, man. I actually was thinking of other concepts that have come along to us along the way, and if it's cool with you, man, I'm gonna do a quick flash round on some other additions, and we can just
yeah,
do a
yeah,
quick
hit me.
get some quick feedback and see what you think. First one, honestly, I hadn't seen it until this week. Unfortunately, Pandem did a Titan kit, and I mean, I like it. I mean, you can see here now the kit is very, very expensive. You're looking at $5,300 pretty much. That's not including shipping. I'm sure it's going to be shipped from Japan. This looks like it was debuted somewhere at SEMA, but of course you're seeing here Titan essentially slammed to the ground. You've got all the accessories, bumper bumper guards in the front and rear, side steps, uh, just those fender flares, man. Uh, had you seen this one before?
Actually, this just came out recently. So I finally
Mm,
got this on a like it came through on a feed, and I
mm,
really like it. I mean, I think it's extremely aggressive. It's overly aggressive for my taste, but there's certain aspects of it I really like. But Pandem kind of almost has a signature look about it now,
yeah, they do.
and you can almost kind of apply it to just about anything. I mean, you could throw it on
Yeah.
a Citroen for Christ's sakes, and it would just be like, oh, all right, okay, cool. A Model T, you'd be like, okay, I don't know if I'd go that route.
Yeah.
But I mean, it flows with this pretty nicely. It's a little. It's a little over the top for me. It's a
Yeah.
little too much for me. I don't know. Maybe I would fall in love with it as it went on,
Y-
but
y-
a low bull bar like that
Yeah.
in the front, Pandem skirts out the sides. I mean, I like a wide truck.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people pull it off correctly, but I dig
I
it. I think
I
it's a cool
I
idea.
I like it a lot. You know, being here in Texas, you got a lot of trucks, and you get a lot of guys who like to gloat and flaunt and get the lifts and the lights and the wheels and all that. This is sort of it's similar but very different. Instead of going up, you're going down, and it's
Yeah,
still
this is
a
definitely truck
very
country. Yeah.
it is, and this is to me, it's still an intimidating looking truck. If you saw us driving on the freeway, just as you see it here, you would slow down and ask yourself, "What the hell is it?" And then you look at it, has got a
Yeah.
Nissan logo on it, and you're like, "Wow, man,
I
Nissan
know. I
gets
saw the
down
rear,
like
and
that."
the
Yeah,
the rear kind of just looks like it's kind of a bite on the new Bronco, and which is okay. I
that
mean,
that that bar, yeah, maybe off to the
yeah,
side here, kind of gets you note. This picture alone really communicates how low they actually went with this truck, man. I mean, I like it. I mean, I guess if Nissan's competing for that wow factor on the road, this would actually do it though. The only thing I would
well,
change though is that exhaust. Do you see this exhaust sticking out? There's no mount. It's not. It's
nah.
just like this
Well,
huge
I'm
gap
pretty
in
sure
between.
this has got to be digital. I mean,
You
I
think
don't know.
so?
Maybe well they're selling it, but God knows. Maybe it's the first guy's got to buy it and then they'll make it. So,
Yeah, good point. I mean, it is pretty pricey. So yeah.
but
Um,
yeah,
I'll move on. I got two other ones I want to share with you since we're talking about Nissan Titan concepts. The other one was the Titan Warrior concept. This one was
yeah,
actually a factory concept. It did come out, I believe
hmm
it did, 2016.
correct.
Titan XD. Again, we were talking about the Cummins earlier. It's a V8 5-liter turbo diesel. Uh, the Warrior concept. Okay, it was a concept. Ups it again. This was actually done by Randy
This is
Rodriguez.
correct. Yeah, this is one
Yeah.
of my favorite concepts that was completed, and I
Mhm.
had an opportunity to talk to Randy about it, and I mean he poured his soul into this one, and I think he nailed it. Quite honestly, I mean
Wow.
for those that don't know, Randy Rodriguez was one of the principal designers for the 370Z,
Hmm.
and before he left Nissan and moved on to other projects. But hell of a designer, a super nice guy, and to hear him talk about the project and the amount of work that he put into it, it's uh, it's inspiring, and he definitely put a lot of love into it. And to see it in person, which I believe now it's at Z1's new headquarters.
I've
Is
seen
that
it
where they've
there.
had it?
Yep. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
I've seen
I don't
pictures.
know if
Yeah.
it's still there. It might have been just doing the tour.
Tour.
But maybe you could reach out to Z1 if you're in the Georgia area and you want to go check it out. But it's definitely a very cool vehicle. I don't know if
Yeah.
Nissan's taken it back in their possession at this time, but hell of
Yeah.
a car. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite designs. And
I
yeah,
I don't know if this was a factory feature, but the three gauges in the center is like very Nissan esque to me. I'm sorry, very Z car esque. You know, obviously it's not the pods, but
well,
it does remind me of the Z, which is kind of.
they did that, I mean, that's the other thing too. It's like you saw that a lot in like some of the early off-road vehicles from like the 90s. Like,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying anybody else, but like you can see that in some of the patrols, the old Nissan patrols.
Mm.
I want to say like Suzuki and some of the other cars, they would have two, but they would have that what I used to call is the oh crap gauge. Like, hey, the this is where you're gonna tip over. I forgot what it's called.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
the the
tilt meter.
tipometer.
Yeah.
I'm sure Amon will tell us in about 4 seconds. But yeah, I mean, I love all that stuff. I think this hit it nail on the head. Never went into production, was never available, unfortunately. But yeah, this is exactly the way it went. But I really think that a lot was taken from this for the modern day Nissan Frontier, which is getting all the love these days with the midsize, which I don't know. It felt very akin to me, if that makes sense. I wanted to kind of go back and talk. Take some. It's been a moment since we went and checked our comments, but Amon said June in Brooklyn, New York for USAA. I think he was talking about
that is EDAMS. That is
EDAMS. That's right.
So
Okay.
the EDAMS Formula E. It's one of the latter half of this EDAMS Formula E season. But yes, that is literally the only track that Formula E is visiting the United States. Yep.
Okay. Going back to what we're talking about for the Warrior project, Nissan Australia is using the Warrior name on the Navara. Yeah. Again, an amazing truck that I wish we would have. We'll never get it. But again, talking to Nissan executives, like, why did we never get the Navara, or at least get the engine, get the car, keep our name, but get all the goodies from the Navara. The turbo and the extra power and all the good stuff. And pretty much it was kind of like the Christmas Story reply: "You'll shoot your eye out." The American market just cannot handle such power. With great power comes great responsibility, and apparently the U.S. market can't handle it. So, yeah, that's the response that I got. So, talking about the center gauges, Amon again, he goes, they did that in the 720s, which I agree with you 100%. You saw that in the cluster from the Pathfinders, Torontos, and yeah, and I could have sworn I saw it in the Patrols too as well, but definitely in the Torontos. Um, yeah, hell of a vehicle. I absolutely love one of those. I was looking and daydreaming of Patrols and Torontos the other day as I was searching on Bring a Trailer, and something came up. So anyway, yeah, but I mean, the problem with owning something that's so rare and weird like that, it's just part availability. So a weird thing. Moving
I agree.
on.
Moving
All
on.
right. So yeah, man, we've pretty much covered just about everything. We do want to, I guess, just briefly touch on events. It's kind of that downtime. Some people have made some announcements on dates. We're gonna just run through these, and as we get through later on in the year, we'll and get closer to these dates, we'll give you a little more information. But Mike, you have some of this data?
I do. All right. So, brand new year means brand new events. I really think that you are right, though. It is important to really, because we could do this a whole mile, an entire list of events that are happening this year. But if they're nowhere near the actual, close to the big show, you really got to have a reason to promote these, within reason. So I will share a list of events that are actually happening here right now. First one, let me share my screen on this. There we go. All right. We're talking about the 35th annual ZCon Convention 2022 happening in Birmingham, Alabama this year. It's being hosted by the Iron City Z Club and the ZCCA, happening July 25th to 30th. You're looking in the dead of summer. We're going to be out in Birmingham for this Z celebration. Of course, we're talking 7.5 months, 7 months from now, pretty much. What's important for you to know right now is that if you're considering going to ZCon, registration is open. That's really the important part, especially if you're planning to go on a track day for this event. Track days are the events that are sold out first. Same thing goes for the hotel. If you really want a nice room at the host hotel, you really need to go online and take advantage of the ZCon hotel room block. Get your name in there. So that is your call of action to do for ZCon here in January. If you're even considering it, just make the phone call. Honestly, hotel rooms, you don't have to pay up front. You just put your name in. The registration, you will have to put some money down. But that definitely cements your track day, especially the track day. So that is the first event. Moving on, we've got Branson Z Fest. This is happening, of course, Branson, Missouri, June 1st through the 5th. BransonZFest.org. Also, registration is open. Now, this has the same call to action for you guys. Hotel, if you're looking to go to this event, Miles, I think we're planning on this one ourselves.
We are. I've already cleared my dates. I will be at Branson this year, assuming something doesn't fall off me. So we are going to be going. Yeah. So for those that do want to go, look to the future. We might be putting together a like a rally to kind of
Convoy,
make it out.
yeah.
Convoy, yeah, there you go. We'll put together a convoy here out of Texas for those that want to go. As we get closer to the dates and kind of confirm that we're all going to be able to make it, we will put together a convoy and see if anybody wants to go, so we can pretty much take over Branson. Yeah. So
awesome.
I'll never see us coming.
Moving on, we've got two more events. These are more of a local level here. These are both happening in Austin. First one we're talking about is Redwood Festival. This is a reschedule from last year. Redwood is a 80s and 90s themed car. If your car was built within those 2 decades, you are eligible to attend and participate in this car show, Redwood. September 26th, they will be in Austin, Texas. And then further down the line, May 21st, they already have a Philly, Pennsylvania, was it Philly? Redwood, Philly, Chester, Pennsylvania will be the site of a second show. More dates are coming. So if you are a fan of Redwood, take a look into that. And then the last one here is Super Lap Battle. This one, Miles, we've gone to the last 2 of these.
Yeah,
we've had a great time on this one.
I absolutely love Super Lap Battle. It's a little more motorsports involved. There's a car show and some other stuff that goes on there, but I mean, if you really want to see, to me, an upper echelon of grassroots racing, I think it gets no better than Super Lap Battle. Redwood is amazing too. I absolutely love it. It gets a little parking lot-ish sometimes.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, nothing to take away from it. I still think it's an amazing event. But if you actually want to see some amazing cars that run out there with a lot of innovation, and you see some pretty big names, surprisingly, at Super Lap Battle, and you can definitely do a lot of meet and greets. I mean, we ran into Mike Kojima, we ran into Chris Forsberg, one of our favorite drivers, Brian Highcotter. I mean, there were so many people that were there, so many amazing car. Our good friend Joshua Garcia was there. I mean, I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites, and it's the price point for it is so affordable. And if you get a chance, it's just a good, fun weekend to get out there and just go have some fun. And you'd be surprised how close you can kind of get in there and kind of check out everything. So yeah, I'm super excited about this one. I'm definitely going to try to make this one. So.
Oh yeah. Now, tickets for this are this is happening February 18th through the 20th at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. As a spectator, online tickets are $12, and for the day of, $20. Miles, this year we need to remind ourselves to actually pick up our tickets. Last year, you want to tell a story? Or you want me to?
No, I'll let you tell the story.
Oh man! So last year we bought our tickets online, and as soon as you park, there was a tram. So you just jump on the tram.
Yep.
Little did we know is that you have to pick up your wristband and your ticket. Most likely, more so your wristband. That lets everybody know that you've paid, and you can only pick it up from the parking lot, which is like a mile away. Once you leave the parking lot, you're not going back until you're finished. So we walked around unknowingly without our wristbands.
Ghetto.
And then there's a pit walk. We're walking up and down the pit, and there's a security saying, "Hey, where's your wristband?"
It's funny. I'm like talking to people that I know, friends that like I haven't seen in a while, and Mike's rolling around all dirty without his badges, and I'm like, we paid for all this stuff. We're just not walking back a mile to go get Mike a badge. Mike is not that important. He's pretty much just the Nissan Nerd Podcast groupie, and I'm like, I'm be damned if I'm going to walk back to the car and get him a badge. But some older woman had didn't like Mike, and she thus kicked him out. And she's like, "Go on, get out of here, scat! Get out of here
I was dodging her the first time. Second time, I think she finally.
now." She was gonna get you.
Yeah,
That's
she
it.
sure was, man. So
She was
this
gonna
year,
take. She was gonna
reminder.
put you in super lap battle jail. So that's it.
So this
But
year, yeah, reminder to self: pick up your wristband the moment you get out of the car because it's right there. Yeah. So
all right. Yeah. So
anyway,
if you get a chance or you're in the Texas or Austin area and you're going to attend, let us know. If you want to kind of come with or meet up or hang out, yeah, just let us know. We're going to be there in and around. Maybe we can do something fun afterwards if there's a big enough pile of us. So yeah.
yep. Now, of course, this events segment of the show, we invite you guys, those listening with us, and those through the podcast. Contact us if you've got an event happening in your area, whether it's Nissan, Datsun, or Infiniti related. No matter what it is, contact us, give us the information, tell us more about it, and we would love to go ahead and promote it for you in this part of the show. So in the future, feel free to share it with us, and that's what we're here for. We're here for the community, for you guys. So yes, that is events.
Yeah. On that note, also take care of us. I love the events and everything, but I mean, Jesus Christ, take care of us. If you get a chance, like, share, subscribe to us. You can check out us at if you need to send us anything or check us out, nissannerd.com. If you need to send us something, you can do that by sending it to info@nissannerd.com. I mean, that's about it, Mike. I don't think I have anything else that I want to talk about. And quite honestly, I don't want to see you till Super Lap Battle.
What are we? We're about a month away. Yeah. I can go a month without Miles. Sure, why not?
Yeah. I could go without you.
You
But
promise?
yeah. Again, for those that have been on with us tonight, I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting us. First show of the year is always interesting. Everybody's waking up. We got COVID happening. You got that Omicron, that Omegacron, the Megatron. All the crons are coming at you right now with the COVIDs. Life is nuts. Stay safe out there, guys. And we'll definitely see you when we see you. But it's important that you stay breathing. Get in your garage in the meantime. Get to wrenching. Make something cool. And we will see you eventually at some event out there. And continue to just share and take care of the community and support the brand.
Sounds great, guys. For you, those of you with us again, stay healthy. Miles, whatever you've got left, you want to do a kanpai on this one? There you go. Boom. There. All right. Kanpai, guys.
Oh, daddy's cough medicine. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God. You forget to pay your rent? Oh, no.
What's going to happen? I don't know. Oh, no. I know what's going to happen. Oh, my God. Anyway.
I think that's my funniest background that you have so far.
My funniest background?
That's the funniest one. Now you got to break it. You got to find one that tops that one. I gotta find one more for myself as well. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, yours suck. You need to bring your funny more. All
I
right?
went legit. That's the problem. Yeah, I need to go.
You're just trying to be that corporate man. Boo!
I'll find one. If only I had as much free time as you, Miles. That's it. Maybe have your friends help you. Help me out. Ask them if they can. If they can.
Hey guys, I need you guys to help me out with some funny stuff for my friend Mike. All right, can you guys come with it? All right. They only got one thing for you, Mike. On that note, we're out. We go. We're done. We're finished. Go.
All right, we're out of here,
guys.
guys.
Till next time. Go home.
Next time.